Hello there, people of Earth. Just got through watching some videos. It is 7 o'clock in the morning, my time here. The morning is nice and fresh, and I got in the mindset to make a video. So here we go. The dangers of parroting Pastor Arnold Murray. Now, to get started, I want you to know I'm not going to bust the balls on Arnold Murray or Shepherd's Chapel students. I am a Shepherd's Chapel student. I've learned much of what I know because I was taught it by Pastor Arnold Murray. But parroting Arnold Murray, it does a few bad things. It takes away from your credibility from people you're trying to win over out of deception's grasp, and you don't want to do that. Parroting Arnold Murray perpetuates an old idea, and it holds back a new idea. And we can't afford to do that. The Word is the living Word. It's a living thing, and it always has to be alive. It always has to be moving. It always has to be changing. Not that the Word itself changes, but your concept of it must change. You must let go of the old concepts in order to grasp on to the new concepts that come to you. God's always revealing things to you. He's not inventing things, but they're revealed to you. And you don't want to get yourself locked in to Pastor Arnold Murray's views of the world, and I'll tell you why. No offense to Pastor Arnold Murray, but he's an old guy. There's no shame in being an old guy. Some of my favorite people are old guys. But at the same point, they have a world view of the past. Pastor Arnold Murray went off to war, paid in price and blood and sweat and tears for this country that most people haven't today. That gives him not only the right, but it gives him a certain frame of view about this country that is old and antiquated. This country is not the same as when Pastor Arnold Murray went to war for it. There was no abortions on the legal table or the political table. There was no right for gay, homosexual type marriages to be legalized, to demoralize the natural order and design of God's plan on the table of political things to kick around and bargain with. These things all developed after people like Pastor Arnold Murray went to war and was fighting for this country, this once great country. Who do we have in power now? A guy by the name of Barack Obama. We're still unclear if the dude is a Christian or is a Muslim, but I'm pretty sure that we all kind of feel he's probably a Muslim. The decisions that he makes with such things as this medical care deal, which is basically stripping people away of their freedoms to do business, as in this country was meant to do business by choice, and to force business on us, which is everybody have the same medical plan, which if you open your eyes and think about it, people, it's not anything to do with this country or how it was intended to work, but it's about communism. And I know you hear old guys saying that all the time, well, that's communist, communism's coming. Shit, I gotta tell you, we're here. We're already in a communist state. We're just too stupid drunk with the things that they feed you to keep your eyes off of it to realize it. I mean, as long as you can get to that store and get your beer and get your potato chips, come sit down in front of your 52-inch TV and watch the Super Bowl, let's face it, you're happy as a people. That's the nature of man, and they understand the nature of man, and they're feeding us the junk so we don't realize just how communist we've all became. So enough with the gung-ho flag-toting stuff for this generation, because what this flag represents is no longer a godly thing. If it was, there would not be any mention of abortions in the law books at all, other than to say it's ludicrous and illegal to practice such. But hey, it's not what happens. You know, you look at our country as two parties, Democrats and Republicans. They're the main parties. They're always who ends up winning in the election. And you could look at both parties real close, and you could see a lot of ungodliness in both of their decisions. And the reason that that is because it's really no longer up to do with any particular party. It's up to do with a small fraction of people that's at the head of these parties, which would be the banks, which would be families such as the Rockefellers and so on and so forth. It don't matter. I mean, we could all sit there and do the videos and learn all the shit about them for till we died. It don't really change things. But my point is, the men of old, you can't really parrot them without espousing their views. In this, you're on a ship which is called the USA. Now, when this ship was built and strong and sailing, and she was sailing through wars and sailing through victories, she had on her mast the plate of Christianity, and that's why she did as well as she did. But that mast has been changed, that plaque on that mast, to say something other than Christianity. Now, if you were a sailor on that ship back in the day, and you're still on that ship today, you're naturally going to look up to that mast, and in your mind's eye, you're going to see that plaque of Christianity, and you want to, because you don't want to be on a ship that serves the Antichrist or a Muslim world. You want to be on a ship that serves Christ. Now, you can tell yourself all day that this is a Christian ship. It was back in my time, it is today, but it don't make it so. There's a reason most of this world hates us as a nation, and that is because our ship was taken down from within. Started back in the 60s, maybe even before then. I mean, if you listen to some people's ideologies about how we were taken down with the movement of NASA, and I know it sounds silly, but if you research NASA, where those people came from, our rocket scientists and people that all this money's been going to for all these years, they were straight up Nazis, man, from Hitler's time. Hell, that fraction of people didn't all die out. They simply merged into the United States in the political field. And, you know, we've been under the spell of witchcraft, really, truly, ever since. Sounds silly, but look into it. You'll find that the people that ran NASA were running with Hitler. You'll also find that they were running with Aleister Crowley. You'll also find that they were very much believers in the occult. Now, what does NASA have to do with your government? Think about it for a minute, would you? How much money has gone to NASA? Why does NASA have the ability to do anything they want and nobody questions it? Why did we just have an oil spill when they had the block at the bottom of the oil spill in the Gulf, the worst oil spill disaster in history? Why did that block malfunction? And why did that block was taken up immediately from the bottom of the water, set up an oil field, inspectors looking at it, went directly to where? NASA. Why? Because they were hiding something. Because NASA is very much an infraction that has infiltrated the entire government. Now, that being said, do you want really truly to espouse a system? Do we want to take all this glory and honor? Oh, look, we went the first ones that went to the moon. Through who? NASA. Oh, well, let's close a blind eye to who NASA was a few years before and what they were worshiping and conjuring. As long as we get to raise our little flags and say, woohoo, we're the first ones on the moon. Think about it. You see, there's an old world and there's the world you live in today. Think about Saul and David. Saul was a cool guy up until David came along, and these giants came along and was going to take over the world, and Saul made the deal, who can take down this giant, the kingdom will be his. Along comes David, a guy able to think outside the box and rely on the Lord, not rely on any flag, but he's fighting for the Lord. He's not fighting for Israel. He's not fighting for any political stance or any kingdom. He's fighting for the Lord, and he wins. Now, what happens to Saul, the old guy? Well, he starts thinking back of the glory of his early days. He can't embrace this new kingdom with David being king. The spirit goes into him that turns him against David. And you know the whole story about what all happens. That's what happens to old guys. They don't want to see the new king come. That's what happened to Jesus when he hit this world. The old kings did not want to let go and relinquish power of the kingdom for the new king. It's dangerous to put belief in a flag. It's dangerous to be patriotic, because what you're patriotic in may be a good thing in the beginning, but then it may end up as some gun stripping away Obama nation some medical plan that you have to be a part of and no longer have the choice of getting your own medical plan. Because all this is coming from the great USA, our great flag, red, white, and blue, patriot, woohoo! Think about it. We have to be able to jump off this ship. The ship is fixing to hit the rocks because this ship was taken down from within, from a captain who is not piloting her for God. He is piloting her for another God. He is piloting her for an antichrist. So do we want to be on this ship when it hits these rocks? Most all the old men are going to stay with that ship for the sake of honor. You don't want to be one of those old men, or you don't want to follow one of those old men to its doom. Jump on Christ, hang on to nothing but Christ. Okay, there's a few thoughts. Again, not to pick on Honor Murray. I think he's a great man of God. He's paid a lot of prices, done a lot of things. But at the same point, we have to distinguish between the old world and the new. And which one are we going to live in? It's a nice thought to think you can live in the old world, but you can't. You have to live in the now. Okay, people of Earth, I'm done with my thoughts. Peace to you.